Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cheney, and this week I am back with a video teaching you guys. I swear to God that was a table and my elbow is not a fart. I'm just going to start that again. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cheney, and this week I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can cleanse, charge and program your crystals. Okay, so first things first is cleansing your crystal. This is something that you will have to do whenever you get a new crystal or if someone gifts you a crystal. And that is purely because you have no idea who else has handed your crystal, you have no idea what energy that person has or what energy is attached to your crystal, and you don't want to be using a crystal that has somebody else's energy. That is not cool. So the first thing you should always do when you get a new crystal is to cleanse it. You'll also need to cleanse your crystal periodically throughout use, just when, you know, other energies can get attached to it, not necessarily if somebody else has touched it. It can be other means as well. It's just good practice to cleanse your crystal every so often to make sure it's clean, just like you would clean your bedroom. So there are a few ways that you can cleanse your crystals, and not all ways are applicable to all crystals. For example, an easy way to cleanse your crystal is to have salt water and to put your crystals in the salt water and leave them in there until your intuition tells you that they are cleansed. However, some crystals are water soluble, which means they will start to dissolve and it will damage the crystal if you put them in water. So I would highly advise that before you do that method, please Google that your crystal is safe to put in salt water or any water of any kind. The second way that you can cleanse your crystal, which is a perfect cleanse for all crystals, is burning sage, or you can burn Palo Santo. Sage and Palo Santo are highly cleansing sacred herbs. They will clean your environment, your energetic space, your body, and also your crystals. All you need to do is set it alight and just let your crystal basically bathe in the smoke that comes off of the sage. And as I said, again, I go by intuition. Whenever I feel that the crystal feels cleansed to me and feels lighter again, then that's when I stop. It's purely on guidance. And I will tell you guys, if you're not used to using your intuition, sometimes you aren't that confident and you can feel like, how do I know when it's done? Am I just telling myself when it's done? Just trust yourself. The more you do, the more easier it will be to find out whether you're actually listening to your intuition or it's just thoughts in your head. So just go for it. And even if you only cleanse your crystal for a little while, trust me, it will be 10 times clearer than it was before you started. So anything is better than nothing. Another way that you can also cleanse your crystal is to bury it in the actual earth. So just dig a little hole in your garden and put your crystals in there. Again, make sure your crystal is not water soluble. Obviously, if it rains, it's going to damage your crystal, and the earth naturally holds moisture. So do not put water soluble crystals in there. That will not be cool. But the earth has a natural cleansing energy, so putting your crystals in the earth will cleanse them, will also charge them as well, but I'll get onto that in the next section. And a final way that you can cleanse your crystals is to put them out under the new moon. Now, I say under the new moon, technically you can't see it and there's no light reflecting off of it, that's why it's a new moon, but it does actually cleanse your crystals. Just put your crystals outside where they're not going to be covered by any shelter, and leave them out overnight, either the day before the new moon, the day of, or the day after, or all three, whatever suits your fancy, and that will also cleanse your crystals. Next thing you want to do after you have cleansed your crystals and made sure that they are completely clear and reset of energy for you to get used to using them, and so that the crystal can then start getting familiar with your energy, you want to charge your crystal. Just like a human, crystals run out of their juice and their juju sometimes, so you have to charge them after you've used them. Some you'll need to charge more regularly than others. Again, it depends on how regularly you're using them, what you're using them for. Again, I just go through intuition. Usually I cleanse, recharge at the same time, just because it's easy and good practice to do that. So there aren't that many ways that you can charge your crystal. One of the easiest ways you can charge your crystal is to leave your crystals out in the pure sunlight. If it's a cloudy day, it won't really work the same. You want it to be pure sunlight. Do look up that your crystal isn't going to fade in the sunlight, because some of them can lose their colour and fade if in direct sunlight for too long. So again, look up the care for that particular crystal. But sunlight is a perfect one to charge. The solar energy is literally charging us every single day, and it's amazing to charge your crystals. Second way that you can charge your crystal, as I mentioned in the last section of cleansing, is that you can bury them in the earth. As I said, this is a 2-in-1. It's like a cleansing charge. The earth has natural electrical charge, and it's going to power your crystal as well. So that is a cheap way to do 2-in-1 basically. And finally, once you have charged and cleansed your crystal, you can program your crystal. Now, you only really need to do this for new crystals. Obviously, once you've had your crystal for a while, you should have already programmed it. So unless you want to change what you want the crystal to do for you, then sure, reprogram it, but it'll be the same set of rules. So when programming your crystal, now some people will think, what the hell, I didn't know how to program my crystal, I thought it just brought all of this frequency into my life. And yes, it does, but if you're looking for a specific purpose, or you just want to fine-tune exactly how the frequencies come into your life, then programming is what you need to do. Now, some people program in different ways. Some people like to write down on a piece of paper exactly what they want that crystal to do. For example, a rose quartz is a crystal known to be a love crystal, both self-love, externally, more love in your life, more love in your relationships. But obviously it's a broad term. So if I wanted to program my rose quartz crystal for relationships, for example, if I wanted to attract love, some people might write on a piece of paper, I program this crystal to bring me in a romantic relationship. I program this crystal to bring in more love into my life. Whatever. I mean, I'm blank now, right now, trying to think of programming phrases, but you will know whatever it is that you want your crystal to do. Just write it down on a piece of paper and then put your crystal on that piece of paper and just imagine the crystal soaking up the words from your piece of paper. Imagine it soaking up and encoding itself. That's one way that you can do it. A second way that you can do it, which is the way that I personally do it, is I hold the crystal in my hand and imagine white light all around it. And I tend to hold it just in front of my heart, so it has my heart energy too. And I will imagine the white light bathing the crystal, and I will say out loud what I want the crystal to do, so almost like affirmations. Program this crystal to bring me in X, Y, Z. Whatever it is that you want that particular crystal to do, depending on what its attributes are. After you've programmed your crystal, I always thank the crystal for working with me and for being present with me, for choosing me, because I believe that every crystal that you have is the perfect crystal for you at that time. You could have had any rose quartz, but the one that you picked was specific for you for a reason. So I always thank the crystal, especially for the amazing energy that it's bringing into my life. So guys, it seems super quick to film. Whether it's going to be super quick when I edit it, I'm not sure, but that's really super quick basics on self-care and self-love for your crystal. Cleansing, charging, then programming. They are the 3 ways and the order that you will always do it in. As I said, I do everything based on intuition. If my crystal seems like dim to me, or it just feels like it needs a charge or a cleanse because there's heavy energy on it, I will go ahead and do that. There is no wrong answer here, and you can never cleanse and charge a crystal too much. So don't panic, you can't do this wrong. As long as you believe that what you're doing is working, it's gonna work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and this gave you a bit more of an insight on how to work with your crystals. I will see you next week. If you have any suggestions or any comments or anything that you'd like to add, any techniques that you have, please leave it in the comment section below for each other to share, and any video requests I will happily do. In other cases, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up.